Before there was Prince, before the slap bass became a language of its own, before funk filled arenas and rewrote the sound of the 70s, there was this band. A group so electrifying, so unapologetically funky that they didn't just play the groove, they became the groove. Led by Larry Graham, the man who literally invented the slap bass, this group took the spirit of Sly and the Family Stone and turned it into something bigger, louder, and holier. They fused church with funk, faith with fire, and in doing so, they laid the foundations for generations of artists who didn't just want to make music, they wanted to move souls. This is the story of a band that changed funk forever. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Graham Central Station. Now, if you guys love my videos and love supporting me, then I suggest you become a member of the channel where I will be releasing exclusive videos just for you all. Be sure to get that family tier so you won't miss out on these exclusive perks. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more content. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. Before he became the architect of funk, Larry Graham was just a kid from Beaumont, Texas, a preacher's son with a bass in his hand and rhythm running through his veins. When his family moved to Oakland, California, Larry found himself in the middle of a musical revolution. The late 60s, the summer of love, civil rights marches, and the rise of psychedelic soul. At the center of it all was Sly and the Family Stone. Sly band was nothing like the world had ever seen. It was black, white, female, gospel harmonies over accent rock grooves. It wasn't just music, it was unity. And right at the foundation of that sound was Larry Graham's bass, deep, percussive, and revolutionary. When the band's drummer was quick mid-gig, Larry started thumping his strings with his thumb and snapping them with his fingers to the empty space of where the drums used to be. That mistake became a movement, the birth of slap bass, a sound that would reshape every genre it touched: funk, rock, R&B, and even hip-hop. All of it traces back to that one sound. But by the early 70s, Sly and the Family Stone started to crumble from drugs, the chaos, and the exhaustion. Larry left the group, but he didn't leave the groove behind. He had a vision to build his own band, a group that could channel faith, funk, and freedom all at once. And in 1973, he did. He called it the Graham Central Station, named after the famous train terminal in New York City. But for Larry, it wasn't about trains, it was about movement. A station for sound where rhythm never stopped. With a full band, a gospel choir, and the funkiest bass on earth, Larry Graham set to prove that funk wasn't just music to dance to, it was a way to reach people's souls. Now, for more information about Sly and the Family Stone, then I highly suggest you checking out my tribute video to them. In 1973, Larry Graham's new band exploded into the scene. They brought church with them. Graham Central Station wasn't just any other funk band, there was a movement. There was part gospel, part groove, and powered by the dangerous rhythm and the section of the game. With songs like Can You Handle It, Release Yourself, and Your Love, they turned every concert into a spiritual experience. It was more than music, it was ministry through movement. Larry would say, "We just don't play music for you, we play music through you." On stage, he was part preacher, part prophet, and all groove. He'd slap the bass until it talked back. A deep conversation between rhythm and redemption. Audiences couldn't get enough. From Oakland to London, Grand Central Station became one of the funkiest live acts on earth. Their shows wasn't about choreography or perfection. It was about connection. And every bass line was a sermon. Every groove, a form of worship. And every note reminded people where funk really came from, the soul of the black church. It was in the mid-70s, Grand Central Station was unstoppable. With albums like Mirror, Ain't No Bout a Doubt It, and Now You Wanna Dance, pushed the limits of funk, melding electric bass, gospel harmonies, and psychedelic soul. And all of it carried one message: love, unity, and elevation. While Parliament brought the party and Earth, Wind & Fire brought the spectacle, Grand Central Station brought the spirit. Their concerts felt like revivals, where believers and bass lines met somewhere between heaven and the dance floor. But as the 70s turned into the 80s, music, that was changing. Disco took over and funk began to fade. And Larry Graham, the man who built the groove, was about to face a new kind of transformation. By the early 80s, the world was moving on. Disco ruled the clubs. Synths replaced slap bass. And the golden age of live funk, the raw, sweaty, spiritual kind, was slipping into memory. Larry Graham watched the scene change, but rather than chasing trends, he chased the truth. After years of fame, parties, and exhaustion, Larry found himself searching for something deeper. In his words, "Music filled my life, but faith filled my soul." He stepped away from the spotlight, embracing life guided by spirituality and purpose. While many saw it as a disappearance, it was really a transformation. The funk was still there. It just had found a higher frequency. And then in the 90s, a new generation rediscovered him. A musical genius dressed in purple from Minnesota, simply named Prince. He was about to bring Larry Graham's groove back to center stage. Prince had grown up studying every note Larry played, every slap, every pop, every space between the beats. To Prince, Larry just wasn't an influence, he was the blueprint. And when the two finally met, it wasn't just musician to musician, it was mentor to disciple. Prince invited Larry to join him on tour, and the world saw the rebirth of a legend. Together they fused the 1970s spirit with 1990s innovation. The teacher and the student on the same stage remind the world where funk was born. But more than music connected them, it was faith. Both men turned to spirituality and both used their art as testimony. Prince once said, "Larry Graham didn't just teach me the bass, he taught me how to live." Larry's 1980 solo hit, One in a Million, proved he didn't need to shout to be heard. It was tender, it was timeless, and it showed that beneath the thunders of his bass was always a heart. Today, you can hear his DNA everywhere, from the slick grooves of Anderson .Paak, to the experimental soul of Thundercat, to the high voltage energy of Bruno Mars. Every note they played carries a trace of a man who turned rhythm into religion. Decades later, Grand Central Station still performs, they still groove, and they still bring the spirit. Because funk was just never about music, it was about freedom. And Larry Graham gave it a voice that still speaks today. From the church stage, from Slide to Prince, Larry Graham and the Grand Central Station proved one thing: the groove never dies, it just evolves. When you look back across the history of funk, the legends, the pioneers, the prophets, one name keeps pulsing beneath it all: Larry Graham. The man who made the bass speak. The man who turned rhythm into revolution. From the church pews of Texas to the chaos of Sly and the Family Stone, from the stage of Grand Central Station to the purple glow of Prince. Larry Graham's journey is a sound of transformation. He showed us that funk isn't just about the downbeat, it's about the uplift. Behind every slap, every pop, every bass line that makes you want to move something is scarce. A heartbeat, a prayer, and a reminder that joy is resilience and rhythm is redemption. His influence lives in every groove that dares to feel real. Every artist who chose soul over software. Every crowd that still believes in the power of live music. Larry Graham didn't just teach us how to play funk. He taught us how to believe in it. The groove never dies. It just finds new believers. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song by Graham Central Station?